and a song about talking about movies. It's Roy on Celluloid.
Hey guys, welcome to Roy on Celluloid. For tonight's review, I'm going to be talking about a film that just came out on Blu-ray a couple days ago. It had its theatrical release over the summer. I saw it one time in the theaters, and I've seen it twice at home so far. So, needless to say, I'm a pretty big fan of this movie, and that is none other than Pixar's Inside Out, which is directed by Pete Docter. It stars Amy Poehler, Mindy Kaling, Bill Hader, Louis Black, and Phyllis Smith as the core group of emotions that function inside Riley's head. Riley's played by Caitlin Diaz, her mother is played by Diane Lane, and her father is played by Kyle MacLachlan. And it's really great to hear Kyle MacLachlan in a role. I like that guy a lot. Anyway, it's about her and her parents moving from Minnesota to California for her father's job. And basically it chronicles her reactions to the whole situation, and you get a first-hand look on that from the inside of her head. And just for a second, I wanted to touch on Lava, which was the short that opened this picture. And yeah, it was cute. I've read that a lot of people really didn't like it. When I saw it, I thought it was a great prelude to the film. I've watched it, I think, once at home, and it's fun. I mean, the song, I guess people can find annoying. It has a really cheesy pun, and I mean, that's all it is. It's all just cheesy wordplay. It's beautifully animated, and if you really think about it, I love the scope of it. I love that it's about a volcano that, you know, thousands, millions of years, and it goes underwater, and then the other one comes up, and, you know, I think that's very interesting. And it's only 7 minutes long, so it's not like it took up a whole lot of your life, but I found it to be charming. But people really hated it. I liked it, whatever. So anyway, let's do a little history lesson for a second. So, you know, Pixar came in hot. Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Bugs Life, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, Incredibles, Ratatouille. And then it hits the high point for me with WALL-E and Up, two of my favorite animated films. And Toy Story 3. Yeah. So they were hot. They were real hot. And notice I didn't mention Cars. I've seen Cars, and I'm not a huge fan of it. And I've always seen that as a little bit of a hiccup in their filmography. And it's unfortunate to say that in 2011 they thought it was a really good idea to make a second one. And that's where the downslope started. Let me just clear this up for a second. I have to express this. Why did anybody at Pixar think it was a good idea to employ Larry the Cable Guy? Why was Larry the Cable Guy ever a thing? And because of Pixar, and because they're making Cars 3 now, too, he's going to continue to be a thing. And he's not funny, he's horrible. He's a horrible caricature of people that nobody likes. Let's stop talking about Cars 2. After that, they did Brave, and they did Monsters University, which I felt were very, very not as good as their other movies. And I felt like they were hitting that true slump, you know, 15 years in. And it was really a shame. And they haven't made a film since 2 years ago, and they came out with this one. And yeah, it's really good. Everything's fixed now. Everything is forgiven. I will completely forget about Cars 2 now. But yeah, Inside Out, I think the reason why it goes so above and beyond for me is, the best way I can really explain it is when I'm watching the film, is every 3 to 5 minutes at least, there is something that happens in it that makes me go, oh, that's neat. It goes so deep and to so many simple ideas that are just presented in such a unique and creative way, and it makes me so happy to see that in a mainstream animated film. It's fantastic. I'm so happy about that. But all these things that you just kind of rattle through your brain sometimes, like, you know, what happens when I go to sleep, or where do memories go? What processes does my mind have to go through to create my personality? All those kinds of things, they're all addressed in this movie. Like, they just created this world where it's all there, and it's all moving, and it's all functioning. And it's so cool. I can't get over that. Like, I just think about it. It just makes me hungry thinking about it. And that's what film should do. That's good storytelling. That's good world building. And yeah, they did that here in spades. And that's one of my favorite parts about the movie. But not only that, but it's funny. It is so funny. And it's so funny because of the fact that the 5 core characters are the emotions. And it's joy, disgust, anger, sadness, and fear. And they're all just caricatures. They're played for straight caricatures. And it's great because with that setting, it works. And honestly, Mindy Kaling and Lewis Black could not have been cast better. And Amy Poehler is fantastic as the anchor. I've been a fan of hers since Saturday Night Live, since Wet Hot American Summer, Parks and Recreation. I am a lifelong Amy Poehler fan, and she lit it up in this movie. And she was the perfect casting for that character as Joy. And honestly, I think Joy would have been grating if anyone else had played her. But Amy Poehler can pull that role off, and she pulled it off perfectly. Bill Hader, I haven't praised his individual talents for his character, and that's largely because I feel like that man can do anything, and I feel like he's just very animated as it is. And the secret weapon of this movie is Phyllis Smith from The Office, who kills it as Sadness. She has the best role in the whole movie, and she is the core anchor of the whole thing. And even though, I mean, it could be argued that that's actually Joy, Sadness steals the show for me. And yeah, that's my favorite character in the movie, and she just blew my mind with that. And side note, I think it's really funny that I think it was Pete Docter who said that they wanted to cast her because of her role in Bad Teacher. At least Bad Teacher was good for something, I guess. About as spoilery as I'm gonna get, as I'll mention the character Bang Bong, who was voiced fantastically by Richard Kind. I really like that character a lot. They presented him in such a great way, because the first time you see him, he's kind of sketchy. He's walking around, he's, stealing memories and stuff like that. He's got this bag full of stuff. He leads them, he's trying to take them to where they need to go, and he's not very reliable. You realize that he's basically like Joy, but he was created by Riley whenever she was really young, like 3 years old. So he's basically stuck being a 3-year-old, and he's just a giant cotton candy 3-year-old, more or less, and he's a lot like Joy in that, and that overly positive, everything has to be happy all the time kind of way. And yeah, so he was a lot of fun. Oh, jeez. Bang Bong. No spoilers, no spoilers. Yeah, the detail is just immaculate. They have, in all the memory orbs, you can see images in them. I know that an Easter egg is that, I don't know where it is in the film, I've just read about it, that they have a scene playing from Up, which is a cool little Easter egg, being that, it's the same director. But not only that, but just little things, like, take for instance, watch their shadows. Joy doesn't have a shadow. Joy just illuminates light, and wherever she goes, she's just so vibrant, and she's just so bright that that's her shadow, is her illumination. And things like that, I really like. Really small character touches like that. And by the end of the film, you'll notice something really key about Joy's character design. And maybe you will, maybe you won't. But when I finally realized it, I was just like, oh! I will say that the reason why I like this film so much at the end of the day is that it's not afraid to go into the complexities about growing up, and it's not afraid to go into the complexities of being human, really. It has a very beautiful message, which is that, growing up is hard, and being alive is hard sometimes. And its ending moral, and I think I have to quote Mindy Kaling in saying this, is that it's okay to be sad, and that's what the overall arc of the movie is. And, like, it's just a sigh of relief to see a message that important being portrayed through an animated film directed for kids. It makes me so happy to see that, because that is one of the most invaluable lessons you could ever learn. It took me years to self-discover that, and oh God, it just makes me so happy to see that portrayed on screen. And it's very beautiful in a transcendent way, and I connected with this film in a way I've never connected to an animated film before. This is like a Charlie Kaufman level of connection for me that I had with this movie. And yeah, it's just breathtaking stuff, what it ultimately culminates to, and the full picture by the end of it. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say about Inside Out. I mean, if you don't already know, if I have to give it a rating, I'm giving it a perfect 5, and I don't care. Like I said, I've seen it 3 times since it came out. I'm still giving it a perfect 5, and I know it'll be one of my favorite films of all time, and it's one that I'm gonna carry with me my whole life, and I'll never forget it. But yeah, Inside Out. That's why I love movies. Thank you, Pete Doctor. Thank you, Pixar. Thank you.